Hey everyone, welcome back to Control. We've done it. We've taken care of all the side quests that are currently available, and it's time to move on with the plot. So, let's get out of the Panopticon because we're actually not very far from where we need to be. Just need to drop down to the first floor here and head across to security.
Hey, listen to this. Containment failure in Panopticon cell 69. Get it? 69.
I do not see what is humorous about an escaped paranatural entity originating from cell 69, sir.
But you just said it. Come on, you guys. It's funny.
I've never found that joke funny myself, either. I mean, I get the joke, I know what it's referring to, I don't see the humor in it. Also, I don't think there is a Cell 69 here. Alright, one last group of hiss to fight, and then we get into new stuff. If I can remember how to fight effectively. The problem is the hiss elevated here are particularly strong. And shielded. And now they've got a hiss cluster. It's a nice small room, so I don't think it's... I didn't even see if I blew myself up or if something hit me. Anyway, yes, I have to walk past Langston every time, and I promise if he says something worth listening to, I'll cut it in. Here we go, get some of the strong guys on my side. Accidentally take out one of those ladies who was just floating there, not hurting anyone. I mean, you're acting as a loudspeaker for a gigantic organization that's trying to rewrite humanity's DNA through audio. You're gonna be caught in the crossfire. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Let me actually get a good hit or two on this thing. There you go. I think it's weak enough I can seize it. And now I should be more or less functionally immortal. And I hope that was just a laser sight light from a sniper. Apparently not, although it occurs to me I'm trying to find demolition experts, not snipers. More remote thoughts, though. All the remote thoughts, please. So, okay, if nobody else is going to pop up and attack me, it's finally time, excuse me, to head into the Prime Candidate program. I don't think the orb can follow me through the door. I love doing that. I mean, you can just come around here and get a direct shot at the guy, but shooting a rocket through the window is so much more fun. And here we have the supplementary document about the mirror. If you haven't already been into the mirror lab, then getting this document points you to that mission. And yeah, I'm sure 1915 was full of imaginary female trouble. But we're here, where Dylan wanted us to go.
To find new prime candidates. The Bureau needs a director. Our future. P6 and P7.
Yeah, normally I save listening to the hotline calls for the end of the video, but this one is particularly important to the things that we're about to see, so I do want to take the time and play this one for you in full.
After North Moore stepped down, I doubled every effort to find new prime candidates. There was no one. No one but me. That wasn't good enough. I pushed hard. I never wanted the Bureau to end up in that situation again. The Bureau needs a director. Always. When my time reaches an end, I want more options on the table. P1 through P5 were all false leads, dead ends, and disappointments. Then P6. Dylan Faden. He fell into our arms. No parents. They're gone. Casualties of an AWE. The boy has exceptional talent. The oldest house will be his home. We'll build him from the ground up. He'll be trained and taken care of. Darling can be in charge of this project. I can't. I'll stay away. I will not fail the boy like I failed my own family. My daughter and my wife. We weren't careful enough back then. Something came home with me. I took work home. My Susanna got sick. When I realized my mistake, I wanted to bring her here for Darling to do what he could. Kate flat out refused. Civilian doctors treated our daughter, but they didn't have a clue. She died. Kate left me. Same old story. That was a long time ago. The Bureau is all I have now. And the prime candidates are our future. There are two. P6 and P7. We're spoiled for choice.
So, a bit more about Trench, and also the revelation that Dylan was not the only prime candidate here. Should put a damage boost on something. Wonder if I've got anything suitable for it. Try to keep Pierce at least usable with the best of everything. Alright, moving on into the actual prime candidate program itself. This, I remember being a particularly tough fight. Just throws enemies at you, and if you look into the background, you can kind of see the room itself is pretty twisted. Also, there's a hiss warped over there. There's a hiss cluster somewhere that I can't eat. There it is. Yeah, I could probably outdamage that guy's healing with melee, but you gotta watch for other enemies sneaking up behind you while you're doing that. Okay, that was the easiest fight that I've had in this room yet. I guess maybe they got tired. They're just trying to save it all for what comes next. I do at least want to make enough progress in here that I can get to another control point. Because having to go back through security every time is a big pain, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So this time I'm going to put the priority on taking out the Hiss cluster first. Or blowing up a seismograph in my face, you know. Either way. And don't look at me for protecting personnel and research right now. I'm having enough trouble protecting myself. Thank you very much. I gotta stop grabbing things that explode. I was pretty sure there was a Hiss cluster here, and I thought I had seized it. Maybe it already died. I mean, there's still somebody here. The Hiss barriers are still up over the door. There we go. No, there's still someone. Alright, there's got to be a Hiss warped here. I'm pretty sure that's part of the fight. There it is. I really was in no shape to be fighting that guy just then. Oh. Hang on a sec. I think there may be demolition experts here. We're definitely switching to charge. I don't think that's a demolition expert. They don't have shields. Also, we need to get at least some accuracy. One more demolition expert, maybe? I mean, I'd like two. I'd be absolutely thrilled if I could get two, but... There we go, and I want to make sure I don't leave any remote thoughts behind, because they're the limiting factor for everything I need to upgrade. Alright, Prime Candidate Program, Take 3. You know, this is a lot closer to what the game looked like the first time I played it. I've gotten kind of tired of people saying, no, actually it looks like I'm pretty good at the game, because I'm managing to beat bosses and do things that people couldn't do on their first try. This is how it much more typically goes. I would have loved to seize that Hiss cluster, but there was a guy in the way. I think I'm doing okay now, at least. And I tried to do a ground pound. I guess I missed the ground. Grip is really strong. Okay. That's it. Everybody's dead. And I don't think any new enemies are going to appear until I move on, so let's take the time to explore this place thoroughly. As always, we've got a chest in the safe room. Rate of fire boost, probably not something I'm going to bother with. I'm going to check all the nooks and crannies, make sure I'm not missing anything, and that's the way to the other half of the room. I'm going to skip that for now. And we'll move on into the area where the entire department seems to have twisted itself into a spiral. I'm really not sure why that is. I've got suspicions. But really, I think this is just something to make the developers of the Stanley Parable jealous, maybe? Like, why did we invent an entire corridor between two columns, but didn't think about twisting the room around on itself? Don't think there's anything to find down here anyway. The upper floor should have some stuff, though. Don't want to forget to check under the staircase, though. You never know what might be lurking under a staircase. And here we go, under this recycling bin, we find a document about Bright Falls. And in case the names didn't give it away, this is a reference to Alan Wake. It's actually interesting seeing the name Clay Stewart. I think that was the guy who appeared in the dream at the very beginning of the game and was never mentioned again. Apparently, it looks like he managed to project himself into that dream through some kind of para-utility, and the Bureau looked into it. But a lot of that's just kind of a, where are they now? And here's the last item that Langston was looking for.
God, the only thing creepier than one mannequin is a few dozen of the damn things.
Yeah, a few dozen, sure. More like a few hundred, I think. The thing is, you can't do anything with them. They all just kinda appear. And I believe if you look away from them and then look back, they change the direction they're facing. From what I can tell, this is supposed to be a puzzle. You're supposed to find the one that's facing a different direction from all the other ones, and that's the real one. You just have to find the only one that's got a prompt for you to do something with it.
New Bureau policy. No more mannequins.
So I don't think there's anything really interesting in that document that we didn't already know, other than apparently they found the mannequin at around the same time as they were starting to work with Black Rock. So here they have the offices dedicated to the actual prime candidates. P6 and P7 each get their own rooms, and then there's a room for all of the closed cases. I'm guessing that the Bureau reconfigured itself as they determined each of those cases to be a bust, so that, you know, all the closed ones are in one room, and then the open ones each get their own room. Also, certainly want to open this door. It's not much of a shortcut, but it is a bit. So let's check out the old prime candidates first. And, yep, I see it. I'm going to search the rest of the room before going anywhere near it. So a bit more information about Bright Falls. Particularly the idea that Frank Breaker was a Bureau agent. Which only means anything to you if you've played the game. Anyway, Threshold Kids.
I can see you're upset, Meg. Why don't you tell Uncle Mr. Bones what's wrong?
I did bad on my clairvoyance test.
You can't ace every test, Meg. You see, everyone has different brains. Some brains can talk to each other. We call this ESP.
ESP?
Some brains can lift objects, like a baseball. Talk about a fly ball, eh, Meg? No interruptions! So who cares if you fail your clairvoyance test? Maybe your brain can throw baseballs, or talk to dead people, or make friends blind. Once we know what your brains can do, we'll know what job to give you. And if your brains are just right, you'll get to sit in the big chair.
What if I don't want the big chair?
What if I don't want the big chair? Everyone wants the big chair, Meg! That's why we're all here. Use those brains to listen for once, or the only chair you'll get in is the one with straps.
I guess they made that episode to try and encourage the kids to want to be the director. I'm not sure that that's the effect it would have. Anyway, let's check out Dylan's room.
Things had gone differently in ordinary for us. But wishing won't change things. Finding the projector will.
Here's a projector.
Ordinary. So much coming together in this one case. A new object of power, something we have not seen before. I mean, coming from me, that's saying something. The boy, Dylan Faden, prime candidate 6, and the sister as well. Once we catch up with her, but the boy, so much potential. We're talking Northmore level readings here, and I don't want to invoke his name. It's completely different circumstances here. It's remarkable. There was an incident. Yes. We lost a valuable member of our team, yes. Excessive force. Dylan has so much. But he's just a kid. I'll take the blame. He needs some slack. I mean, boys will be boys. He's exceptional and under a lot of stress. Roberts got killed. It's an unfortunate accident, that's all. Marshall needs to realize this. We will make this work. We'll make this work.
So perhaps a bit of insight into why Dylan was locked in a cell in the Panopticon. And it seems like Dylan was hearing from Polaris and not very happy about it. He gave himself to the hiss just to get away from Polaris, it seems. And I don't think the redactions are really covering a whole lot here, but I like to imagine that the ones at the bottom of the document are telling us that Dylan tried to contort the agent's head through his butt. Just because of the somewhat symbolic nature of those injuries. And there's a locked gate across the way, so we're going to have to check out...
Is this what Dylan wanted me to see? It doesn't matter. We need to find that projector.
Yeah, no surprise, P7 is Jesse. This probably isn't a surprise to anyone.
All the times I felt paranoid, I was right. The Bureau could have given me the answers, but they just stood by and watched me.
And I get a suit to match Dylan's. We'll check that out later. It's not really clear whether she started in Cheyenne or that was a destination along the way. Anyway, stuff to listen to.
We used to play there all the time. Me and Dylan. And other kids as well. We loved it. This time, I remember, was different. We found a way in, deeper into it, like it had shifted. We went inside, and that's where we found the slide projector.
A dump is a place for lost things. Things that have been thrown away. Did you ever feel that way when you were growing up, Jesse?
What? No. Yes, but that has nothing to do with...
Was there a slide projector at your home when you were small?
No.
Those were before your time, I suppose. But your family did look at photos together, maybe. In one form or the other?
Maybe.
When was this? Can you remember? At parties? Barbecues? How did it make you feel? Did your parents ever show pictures that embarrassed you? Was alcohol ever involved at these parties? Did your parents drink? Did that make you uncomfortable?
No. That's just stupid. Come on. That has nothing to do with this. Nothing. The slide projector...
Let me ask you this. As a child, did you ever fantasize about worlds inside pictures? Inside a painting? You know, stepping into a painting, into a hidden world, escaping and finding adventure there, away from your parents.
I don't think so. I don't remember. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, anyone who played Mario 64 when they were growing up thought about worlds inside pictures. But I guess the psychiatrist is trying to suggest that maybe Jesse created the slide projector. Anyway, we managed to get to the far side of that locked gate from before. So we've got a shortcut, and there's a whole wing.
What would happen in Ordinary here? That's the place to start looking.
A whole wing dedicated to Ordinary. Of course it's guarded, but that shouldn't matter a whole lot. Can't really tell whether any of these guys are demolition experts or not. So if I can take them out with charge, it's probably a good idea. I don't think any of them were, though. Those are all just rangers. See, this is part 2 of that 3-part message that we found earlier. This is the follow-up to it. We still haven't found the first part, and we can't get to it yet. So in the meantime, we're actually right below where we were before in the sealed corridor. You know, the one with all the clocks in it. I think there was a window where we could look down and see that very room down there. But before we go down, even more stuff to find. And perhaps a bit more information about what happened in Willow. I think this is the one where there was that pair of scissors. But there's also a hollow sphere, vitrified soil. I think vitrified means that something is taken on the consistency of glass. Kind of weird those pictures were slanting in unison. Also, surprise! I knew that was coming, but your first time, that's gonna get you.
Dylan and I were both prime candidates. Experiments. Very different ones, sure, but both in a cell of some sort. Am I out of the cell now, or is all this, the house and being the director, just another cell? Who's really in charge here?
Well, I thought that was obvious. Ahti is in charge. Or maybe the board. Hard to tell whether one of them takes orders from the other or not. Anyway, I don't feel like I should be having as much trouble with this fight as I seem to be. Also, I thought that was going to go on for a little longer. Should have been another wave of enemies, but I think I'm thinking of the next control point that we're going to find. I think it's been a while since we saw a control point that had that much of an effect on the geometry.
We're going back home. Of course we are. It started there, and it's never gone away.
I do want to do some exploring here, but first, we can definitely upgrade at least one of these. I'm going to take Pierce to level 3 before I bother taking Shatter to level 2. And since I've been putting off so many Bureau alerts recently, let's go ahead and deal with this one. personnel protection in Executive is usually the easiest one. And if I find any Hiss guards, that'll be great. I don't expect to see any Hiss distorted. They never show up in the Executive sector as far as I can tell. I usually aim with Pierce, so aimed fire boost is probably the best one, but I don't think this is going to be a mission where Pierce is going to help very much. And if we see enough guards and we can kill them with spin, so much the better. Actually, most of these guys are guards. That's pretty nice. Certainly want to try to seize the Hiss cluster, though, because it'll heal both me and the 2 surviving agents. I didn't even see one of them go down, but apparently I lost one. Probably shouldn't throw things at the guards. I'm so powerful now that not even their shields are protecting them. Well, since there have been enemies here, I'm pretty sure there will be more waves of them as I deal with each wave. There we go. Ground Pound finally does what I wanted it to do. The good news is you don't have to protect all 3 of the agents. If at least one of them survives until the end of the mission, you get the credit. And considering that one of them is standing right next to a Hiss trooper, that's probably all I'm going to be able to manage. Yeah, I thought maybe one of them was getting to safety outside the room, but there, you can see that mark in the middle of the screen there. That is part of the prompt for Seize that just kind of got stuck there while I was doing smoke effects. It's distracting, but less so now that I know what it actually is. Seems like there aren't a lot of guards showing up anymore. And where is the last agent? And clearly they're still alive, because I haven't lost the mission yet. Oh, there's a distorted. And that's really all you need. I think pretty much as soon as you complete the mission, the surviving agents die anyway. It's pretty rare that they can all walk away from it, but I protected them as long as I needed to get the credit. And again, they could still be alive somewhere out there. I don't know where they've gotten to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the agent fighting somebody, and I don't see them. Actually, they're probably right under me. Oh yeah, nope. That's the guy that I seized earlier. Yeah, I think the agent's just gone. I guess they lived long enough to accomplish whatever it is we needed them to. Unless they're waiting for us outside. Well, whatever became of them, we got what we needed to get. And didn't quite complete any of the missions. So, I just realized I killed a histostord in the executive sector, but I didn't have the mission active. Alright, well, we'll get back to the ordinary AWE next time. See you then.